interesting story, Peter, about how Japan is fueling, no pun intended, the natural gas market these days.
That's right. I mean, they have 54 nuclear reactors in Japan, of which only 3 are operating today. This is a result of the accident last year, of course, and also many plants that have gone down for regular inspections haven't been able to start again. So pretty much most of the energy they lose from not having nuclear plants operating has to be replaced with natural gas. And we're talking about liquefied natural gas shipped by tanker from overseas.
Right. And I mean, you talk about nuclear power in Japan. In your story, you point out it was about 30% of all energy was supplied by nuclear. So we're talking about a very large portion of their energy supply, right?
That's right. I mean, it's still the world's 3rd largest economy. They use a huge amount of energy. They're fairly efficient, much more efficient than we are. But still, it's a huge economy, a huge amount of energy. And if you take away 30%, you're talking about a huge gap that has to be filled. And coal is too dirty. Oil is very expensive. Solar, they're getting interested in, but that takes years to ramp up. So if you look at what's available and the most price effective, it's natural gas.
Now, Peter, we're talking here about a bit of a rush to build liquefaction plants around the world. You mentioned the one in the northwest of Australia, which is actually my home state, and it's a huge deal in Western Australia. It's like $25 billion investment. There's just every man and his dog seems to be getting a job in that place. And I know that off the coast of Brazil, Petrobras is talking about building liquefaction plants off the coast there for its giant find, and you mentioned some other ones in your story. What are we seeing here in terms of that process?
Right. I mean, there's more demand over the long term, I think, from Japan and from Europe as well. We saw that there's a LNG plant being built in Louisiana to export natural gas, and they've signed up customers in Britain, in Spain, in India, and Korea. So you see some of the European countries as well
it's a big
looking
deal,
to natural
right?
gas to support their economies.
It's a very expensive process to build these plants. You've got to cool the gas down and so forth. It's fairly capital intensive, correct?
That's right. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars in any case to build a new LNG export facility, and you have to take advantage of that price gap. If there weren't a price gap, I think you wouldn't see this development, but when natural gas is going for $2.50 per million BTUs in the United States, and the same price is $10, $15, even more in Japan or Europe, then you have the ability to export the gas and still make a profit.
You sure do. And I mean, for a second, look, and the math probably isn't all that difficult. Let's talk about how this ties into the natural gas boom here in the United States.
Well, it's obviously an opportunity. Now, the U.S. still needs to approve many of the export plans. Some of them have been approved only for exports to countries with free trade agreements with the United States. So there are a number of bureaucratic hurdles that need to be overcome. But it is an opportunity for natural gas developers here. The domestic price is so low that some of them actually have been forced to cut back a little bit on development. But if they can get these overseas markets where demand is high, where the prices are high, that's a positive for U.S. natural gas developers.
Does that mean as well building pipelines that go to ports rather than to distribution centers and so forth? Is there a lot of pipeline construction that needs to go into this?
That's right. There's pipeline construction, and there is opposition from some domestic users of natural gas who say don't build pipelines to export facilities, build them to our plants, say a Dow Chemical or a DuPont that uses a huge amount of natural gas in their operations to make plastics and that kind of thing. They say don't export the stuff. Let's keep the price as low as possible in the United States. So there is some tension here over the export issue.